Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about 3 of the best business books for the year 2022, 2023, 2021, whatever, okay? I'm going to just talk about the best ones for starting a bookkeeping business. And I did not read these in the beginning when I was first getting started. This has been throughout my career, but I'm going to kind of talk about like the different similarities I've learned and tactics I've utilized from the different books and why you should start reading these ones as well. So I'm going to show you 2 ones I have in a physical copy. The third book that I have, I'm actually going to talk about that one second. I'm going to actually show you the audiobook for that. But number 1, okay, so Expert Secrets. So this is actually a book. It's not even from the accounting or bookkeeping space. It's more just on like online entrepreneurs, speakers, teachers, salespeople, coaches, whatever the case might be, but it really talks about how to start developing yourself as an authority online. Now, this was really, really pivotal for me because, my biggest goal was always to start trying to grow an audience, trying to get hundreds of thousands of people to really want to work with me. And this was even before I started a bookkeeping business, because I had tried a lot of different businesses in the past. Like I tried running like a website design business, I tried doing like an e-commerce store business, I tried doing Amazon FBA. Like I tried so many different things. I was just so hungry to make money online. And it wasn't until like I really just started thinking about, well, I'm already doing accounting and bookkeeping in corporate America. Why don't I just try and do it for other companies? And that's when things really got a little bit easier for me. Like it was still hard to kind of sell in the beginning because I just didn't have any sales skills, but it was the best business model for me, getting to 0 to 10K per month. So this book has a lot of different things that teach you about like authority. And when authority is really important because it helps you make sure that you can actually get people to want to pay you more money. And it actually makes it easier for you to start getting people to want to work with you. So this really helps you talk about like understanding your story, like who you are and how you can relate to the market. Number 2, it helps you learn about like how to take someone from a complete stranger to totally respecting you in a matter of like days or weeks, right? So when the person comes on the phone with you, they're not asking, like, do you have a website? Do you have like a million years of experience? Why are you starting? Like, they don't ask these questions. It gets very, very simple for them to want to work with you. We actually use some similar stuff for the mentorship students inside of our mentorship program. So for example, Rick was very new to the space, and when he came in, he was like an engineer, and like his corporate job is he's an engineer, right? So his biggest thing was when he would get on the phone, he'd be like, well, you're an engineer. What are you doing bookkeeping for? So the first thing we did is we just started really helping him build a lot of trust assets. So that's learning how to build. We have like a business resume. We have more of a way to structure your social media profiles. We have a way that you can communicate your story that makes it very easy for people to really respect you, trust you, and want to do business with you. And the first client he got, the person ended up having, I think it was 91 bank accounts for 31 different parking lots, right? So it was this huge client. The client ended up paying like $7,000 a month, right? But it all came from learning how to really build that authority and build that trust very, very quickly. And I can go into more of this stuff over time. Like for example, one of the concepts is like the big domino. That means like what is a thing in the person's mind that needs to like fall down or click in order for them to fully trust that you are the person that can actually help them inside of whatever they're trying to do. And then once you learn how to do that, and like we can show you how to do that. Like we have other videos on the channel that just show you straight step by step like how to go and build that trust, get that reputation inside of your space, whether it's a local area or online. It makes it very easy for you to start getting clients. The second book is called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. That is the book I don't have. It's the one I have in audiobook. Now, I have read that book probably 3 to 4 times cover to cover, 40 times like single chapters. Like I used to just listen to certain chapters, right? Either before consultation calls or before like I would just like whenever I have time, I would just like read different parts from it and I would just listen to it on the audiobook. And it would really kind of, number 1, I liked it because it kind of raised my vibration, and vibration is just a way that you kind of communicate with people and the way that the energy you put out, right? So maybe more of a giving type of person, more of a positive type of person, even though there's some days where I don't really feel like, super extrovert. I don't really feel like talking to a lot of people. I don't feel like doing certain things. So whenever I'd read that book, I'd be like, okay, cool, excitement. Let's go and attack the world. Let's go get clients. It was like just very like motivating for me. That it also helped me understand like different aspects, like learning how to communicate with people by getting them to talk about what's important to them rather than me trying to talk about what's important to me. And like even for this YouTube channel, right? Like I don't know if you noticed, but like most of the videos are around like accounting and bookkeeping. Like that's not the only thing that I like talking about in my life. Like I like talking about like reading books. I like talking about like different marketing concepts. I like talking about dance stuff. I like talking about working out. I like talking about food, healthy living. I like talking about cars. Like, there's a million different things I like talking about, but it's just like, I know some of the people who are watching might not like me talking just about those other things. Now, and maybe I'm wrong. If you want for me to talk about different areas of my life and how it either applies to my business or how I've like developed my businesses, so that actually allows me to have more free time than the average person. I was telling this one person yesterday. She recently joined my program, and she was like, she feels she never has anything to do, and she's only making, when I say only making, I'm not saying like in a mean way, but she was only making from her job, like maybe I think it was like between $5,000 to $7,000 a month, but she has less free time than I do, running 2 six-figure businesses, having a significant other, as well as like a child that we take care of, right? And I still have more time to do dancing. I have more time to go to restaurants. I have time to go watch movies. I spend time with my family, my brother, go to art. Like, I have all this kind of time that I learned how to develop, right? But it all comes from having systems, having delegation, having people. And I learned a lot of that stuff by just doing it in life. And I'm going to be kind of breaking down different things on this channel that share how to grow your businesses. So that's whether that's, bookkeeping, whether it's consulting, whether it's tax planning, it doesn't really matter. All those have like very similar ways of growth. And by like just kind of sharing my story and sharing like what's worked for me, I think it might be able to help you out as well. At least that's what it's been for a lot of people who watch this channel in the past. But I really like that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, because it really talks about the keys to communication. And when you know how to communicate very well, and I'm not saying you have to be like an extrovert, I'm not saying that by any means, right? It's just you need to learn how to be effective when you're talking to people. For example, one sales principle I like using is like whenever someone says like a very uncertain word, repeating the uncertain word. So the other day I was trying to go and get a sleep test done because I'm going through some different changes in the way that I sleep right now. Some nights I feel really rested, other nights I feel just terribly unrested. So I was going in, and first you have to go and get a visit with your primary care. You have to go and schedule an appointment for like the initial consultation with the sleep people. Then you have to go and schedule like your follow up, right? So I basically had gone and seen the primary care. So at the end of the primary care, when I was checking out, I was like, hey, is there any way that you can maybe call the sleep study center, which is on the same campus, really close to you guys, because it's like a hospital I go to. And the lady's like, well, we usually don't do that. And I said, usually? And then she just almost like went into this trance where she thought about it for a second. And then she just started dialing the phone and then like calling the person up. And then within about 3 minutes, I had already set up like an appointment for like the next like 2 days, even though the average wait time for between when you call this, when you do your primary care versus when you do the sleep center, it's like 2 or 3 weeks. I got the appointment within 2 days because I just literally just parroted the same word that she said, usually back to her in a very kind of curious and kind of teasing way, right? And then it calls her to be like, yeah, well, why can't I do that? So she just did it. She called on the phone and said, well, he really needs to kind of get in this day. I know you guys usually have like a wait time. Is there any way he can kind of like get in just a little bit sooner? And it's like, yeah, well, we have this time, we have this time. Okay, cool. So we schedule it, right? But it's like little things that when you know how to communicate with people, you can go and get whatever you want and get whichever you need very effectively. Now, I know that's like, even if whether you're starting a business or whether you're even still in corporate America, learning how to communicate with people is one of the biggest skills that we can have in order to go and get what we want inside of our goals, inside of our life. Same thing when I was buying my car, right? Just learning how to deal with the people, learning how to get lower interest rates, learning how to get money off of the sale of the car, just learning how to like really negotiate is really a key thing in life, that once you have that skill set and you keep developing that skill set, everything gets a lot easier. Next thing is whatever it takes. So this is the story of the chairman and CEO of Blackstone. Blackstone is a really, 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 really large kind of investment type of bank. It's these guys make a lot of money, but it was very interesting. Really interesting to kind of see how he handled things not quite going his way, right? Because in the beginning, even though he had a lot of advantage that the average person doesn't necessarily have, he was still able to go and overcome a lot of objections, a lot of things that were really standing in his way that stopped him from going and getting instantaneous success. And just seeing that, okay, if this guy can go and do this like within a lifetime, like how big he can grow his company, it's like, wow. I'm not trying to go and build like a 10 billion, 100 billion, $1 trillion company, right? I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is that if this guy can kind of do that, then you and I can grow, 7-figure, 6-figure businesses just by overcoming, sticking in the game and learning some skill sets, right? And that's what this book really helped me. So it wasn't necessarily that it helped me like learn a huge amount of like tactical skills. Like it did talk about like what is the process for raising money, what's the process for doing like these really, really large enterprise deals and just really facing rejection. But really what it kind of taught me was more that not everything works out the first time you do it. And really that's another key thing is most things don't work out the first time you do it, right? Whether it's like starting a business, whether it's whether you start a booking business, whether you start a different type of business model, nothing works exactly the way you want it to the first time around. There always has to be like a hypothesis, a trial, a test, a retest, and then you start going and finding like what you need to do in order to go and grow your business forward faster. And I'm sorry the camera keeps like going in and out of focus. This is very strange. How do I change the camera to like focus better? I'm gonna have to learn that. This is a new camera, so still kind of like getting around that, just like adjusting to it and things. But I think once we do that, we should be very good to go. But yeah, so most things are not gonna work out exactly the way that you want to, and like being a business owner is not about things working out right the first time. It's about things working out eventually. Now, if you're doing the right things over time, you're going to start trending towards your goals. So where a lot of people do, and like there's a couple different pitfalls most people have. Like most people, they either like never get started with something, and they're always like kind of staying on the sidelines. But for the people that do get started, and like I commend you for getting started. And even if you're on the sidelines, you're just like kind of like fear has you gripped. I still kind of feel for you, and I still am commending you for at least thinking about being inside the game and like doing it. But it's like once you start getting in the game, it's like most people, they don't really understand how much effort, time, and focus it takes in order to like get the initial traction needed to get off the ground. So it's like that first like 1 month, 2 months is really where you need to put most of your focus in. And if you can put your focus in the right things, then it's just a matter of time before you start going and hitting it. And then business growth over time tends to be linear. And like the way I like to describe it is like the days are long. It's like the days are hard sometimes in the beginning, right? But the weeks are very, how do I say? The days are long, the weeks are short, and then the year is one. It's very strange because like most times like when you're in business, like it doesn't always feel like you're winning, but then when you look back on the calendar, you actually see how much like money you made every single month, and you go and check your profit margin, and you go and check it like the money in the bank. It's like, wow, you just have this like really good amount of savings, right? And it's like it can be emotionally challenging in the beginning, even like when you're in the middle. Because like for me, I generally like starting businesses. I don't always like running businesses for like years and years and years and years. And like right, I am getting close to a decade of running like the bookkeeping business, of course, but it never really necessarily gets like it never feels kind of like, oh wow, this is like the best thing every single day, and it's like, oh my gosh, I love XYZ. It's more of like, this is cool, this is relaxing, I'm not always like at the goal that I want to be, but I'm always getting close to that goal. And then it's just like, okay, but it's kind of a weird feeling because all of your bills are paid, so it's not really like a money goal or like a need-based goal. It's more like a frustration goal. Because like for me, for example, I'm trying to go towards 7 figures per year inside of our business, right? So it's like the bookkeeping gives me that really good, solid base of income and recurring revenue. And then like the coaching and mentorship program is like a very good way for me to go and like get spikes in income and stuff. But I see a lot of my friends, like they get to $200,000 per month in their business very quickly. And they're at $2 million, $3 million a year in their business, right? And I'm still sitting at like, we sit at anywhere between about $600,000 to about $700,000 per year with both businesses combined. That's just an active income. That's not counting like passive income sources. But it's just kind of interesting that it's like it never becomes about a need. It's just more of like a frustration. It's like, okay, so you're not quite where you want. You're moving and trending in the right direction, but it's like, you never really feel like you arrived. You feel like you're safe. Don't get me wrong. Like I feel tremendously safe, right? But it's like you don't feel like you're there. You don't feel like you're arriving. But it's a very beautiful game when you look back, when it's just like, wow, how far you've accomplished. And that's one thing that I kind of struggle with, is that I'm always thinking in the future. And I live every day inside the present, but I like live inside of the future as far as like where my business is gonna be in like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and if we ever decide to sell both of the businesses, right? But then it's just like just kind of a weird kind of thing and a weird kind of way to look at it. But that's what they say oftentimes, like overachievers and stuff. So it's like when you get your business to a certain point, you get to 6 figures, right? You can stay there and you can just have a really, really good life there. I mean, because if you do 6 figures enough years in a row, you know how to mitigate the taxes, you know how to really structure your business, you know how to get your time back so where it's either everything's automated or you have like staff accountants doing a lot of the work, then everything else gets a lot easier over time. And then from there, I mean, you just keep funneling the money into either like passive investments, so whether that's like life insurance, whether that's then taking out the money to then go and get like real estate, and you just keep stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking. Or if you don't really know how to do real estate, because like there's a lot of stuff involved with it, you could always go and like invest like in a REIT or in some sort of fund. But there's a lot of different things we can do. Maybe I'll even do a video on like wealth and like different things I'm learning right now, because like that's the next thing I'm studying is number one, how to get the business to 7 figures per year, but also make sure that like we have like a lot of like wealth building stuff, because I really want to get like just understanding that. I think my ultimate goal would be to make about anywhere between about 250 to about 300K per year in passive income alone. So that's not me doing anything from either my accounting business or anything from the coaching business, just from passive income alone. And that's kind of like the future kind of goal that I'm like thinking of and like learning how to do. And I'm just like assembling a lot of different pieces together, getting a lot of different experts around me just to kind of learn this stuff. And that's the biggest thing. It's like once you start knowing what you want to do, just like go find an expert who's doing exactly the thing that you're trying to do right now, and then just pay the person whatever you need to. So like for example, I'll pay someone I paid this one person like $250 for an hour conversation. Then I said, hey man, what if we do this like ongoing? Can I just pay you like $2,000, $3,000 for about a month of you just like sitting down with me like once a week or once a day, just kind of running me through how to like do these different things and think about these different things, right? And it's like it's very interesting when you're kind of at that point. It's not really about like money, because I was doing that even before I had like a pretty good amount of money inside the bank. I was doing that back when I was struggling and starting to grow the business. Versus like a lot of people, like they just don't invest in themselves, and then they kind of stay in the same place. They just never really learn the skill sets fast enough to go and actually like grow. But yeah, those are 3 books that really helped me go and grow my businesses, and hopefully you can utilize them to grow your accounting or bookkeeping business. If you want some help, one thing that I've actually included inside this channel is inside the description. I'm going to have like if you're thinking about starting or growing like an accounting or bookkeeping business, I made a bonus video that walks you through the 3 fundamental steps it actually takes to go from 0 to 10K per month. And it's the exact same way I did. So I talk about like my story, like what were my struggles, why was I not successful like right out the bat, what I have to do to go and change it, what are the 3 things you need to do in order to focus. And then once you have those things, then it's again going that consistent path. So if you want to go watch it, go click the link inside the description below to go and check it out. And let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you in the future. Have a good day.